When I tell people I lecture and teach German, they think my journey was smooth. Fun fact, it was not. I was stuck at the same level for years, even though I started learning German in 2018. But here's why I finally broke through and why you can too, no matter how chaotic your learning journey seems. I started learning German in 2018 as part of my international relations degree. I resumed late, and the first thing I walked into was Der die das, and then the entire declension table staring at me like judgment. I loved languages, I always have, but at that moment, I had no idea. I had no idea what the lecturer was saying. German felt like a beautifully confusing ocean, and I was drowning. I got help from my course rep at the time who understood the basics better. She explained the grammar and the pronunciation, and slowly the confusion started lifting. And guess what? I passed the course with an A. Then our Vice Chancellor sponsored the A1 exam. That was my first experience with intense studying, and the moment I realized you can love a language, but love alone won't make you learn it. You need actual studying and daily practices. Well, I did pass the exam, and that gave me the courage to continue studying the language. Now, here's the part I don't like to admit. I wasn't consistent at all. I stayed stuck for years at the same level. Based on how long I've been learning German, I expected myself to have gotten to like B1 or B2 level. But in reality, I wasn't even sure I had passed A1 level through university, switching between French and German due to language courses we had to take in my IR degree. That made it worse, switching from French to German. My brain was constantly doing linguistic gymnastics. I tried to keep up with Duolingo, but then I switched to LingoDeer, which I preferred because it felt more structured and it suited my learning goals. But consistency, that was non-existent. After uni, I attempted to restart my French and German. Only German survived. French packed its bag and left. My real German learning journey that actually led to fluency started after I graduated from uni. I made learning German part of my identity, part of my career, a real part. I added Deutsche Welle Deutsch lernen, Deutsche Welle DW.com Deutsch lernen, and committed to studying 30 minutes to 2 hours a day. And if I missed any day, it shouldn't be more than 3 days in a week. Then in 2022, I started teaching and tutoring German. A year later, I was offered a position to lecture German in my university where I had started the learning journey. And that was my confirmation with the language. My German level had finally grown enough for me to speak spontaneously without having to translate them in my head first. And here are some of the resources that took me from stuck to confidence. Apps and learning platforms, sites like LingoDeer, Deutsche Welle Deutsch lernen, A1 bis B1, Radio Garden, where I listen to Germany radio stations. I like Deutschlandfunk, and YouTube channels that I love. Easy German, Zoe Languages. I love her. She speaks about 67 languages. Stories in German. Sometimes I listen to their stories passively to train my ears. Then Learn German. This was my go-to while I was trying to perfect my B1, my go-to, even preparing for my exam. Learn German is so structured, it's wonderful. Then the final resource, which really helped me a lot, was real-life speaking practices with some of my German friends that came visiting, and some were studying, some were working at the university. German is not as difficult as many people think, especially if you already speak English. There are lots of cognate similarities in German vocabulary, the same as English, though the grammar is different, but learnable. But the biggest myths I hear: I'm too old, my brain won't take it, I've not even mastered my mother tongue, not to talk of learning another language, I can never be fluent. These are not true. The real issue is consistency and exposure. I always tell my students this. Even if you can't study every single day, at least listen passively. Podcasts, radio, YouTube, music, or even watch movies in German. It's called training your ears, and it will help a lot. Learning a new language adds flavor to your life, especially if you learn to enjoy the process. And it opens doors to many opportunities that people skip because of language barrier. If your language learning is chaotic, or you feel stuck, or confusing, or it looks anything like mine, you are not alone. Just don't stop learning. Start with the resources you have. Be consistent even if it is imperfect. Movement is always better than staying still. And the only limit is in your mind. I'll probably make another video about how I would relearn German if I was starting again today, because my experience is one hell of a roller coaster that I can never really describe. If you learned something from this video or it encouraged you, do like and subscribe. It's how to get through your coach in languages, constant growth with an international focus, and many more to come.